All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Will you all start and just introduce yourselves and tell us where you're coming from, please?
My name is Hanna Hilmarsdottir. I'm Icelandic. I'm head of International School of Iceland.
So she's the principal, and I have several roles at the school. My name is Berta Faber. I also live here in Iceland, and I sit on the board, but I also, that's only a temporary thing, and I also head curriculum and all curriculum related things, professional development, coaching, etc.
Fantastic. Thank you both so much for joining us. And I'm glad you're both with us. This is going to be a fun conversation. When I asked about what you wanted to speak about, you identified strengthening leadership and also curriculum. Um, let's start with strengthening leadership, if that's okay. Can you talk to us a little bit about an evaluation process that potentially you use in your school for teachers and also maybe for your head of school and leadership team? Is there any evaluation process and how did you come to it?
Evaluation of our curriculum, of our teaching, or
Of your teachers and of your leadership team, do you have teacher evaluations or leadership team evaluations?
what would you say? We have, I don't think we would call them evaluations.
What we have here in place is what no other school, I believe, in Iceland has, at least, is that we do have Berta's position, which means that when you join our team, you get trained, you get training, you get support, and you get it within the classroom, and you show her your best, you show her your worst. And it's not about giving you like a 1 to 10. It's not that. It's where do you need the support? You may be coming from a very different culture and or we do things differently than you're used to, even if you're just coming from the Icelandic school system and you start teaching here, it's very, very different than in maybe in the neighborhood school. So training and that we're all sort of in on the same boat is important to us. And so even when we were establishing this school, so I joined 2007, it was established 2004. We and money was huge issue. I mean, trying to get money to just get computers and all that good stuff, pencils even. But it was never a discount on this because we do believe that if we have well-trained, happy staff, they are the ones who serve the customers who are our children. So, yeah, that's how we built it from the start. So it's so embedded in our culture that it's kind of, yeah.
Mhm.
So I wonder how to talk about it. Then we also have like a system that we measure well-being of the staff and we measure if they like their jobs, we can measure what are the challenges and we can work with those numbers and work with our staff towards
Bettering, improving.
better improving, yeah, improving our school. And it's always been about growth. Even when we had 5 students, or we have 125, the goal is we can always grow, you know.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean necessarily number of students. We've grown so much with our inner structure,
Mhm.
and since we started, it's yeah
I
fascinating
I
when
think,
I look back.
yeah, I think I step back from that word evaluation a little bit, but I think for our approach is more figuring out where the teachers are, the staff that we have, and in a small school that's possible.
Mhm.
If you have a smaller staff to deal with, and how to help them grow from where they are. Yeah, and I think one of the things, like you said, was even though we are a small school, we've always maintained a curriculum position. Um, that we don't have a lot of different positions, but we've always maintained somebody was in curriculum. And in Iceland, that's unusual because usually it falls on the vice principal, or I don't know, I'm not sure, or the counselor or something. But we think no, they always have enough to do. The vice principal's putting out fires all day long,
Mhm.
and so we want to have a position for that's dedicated towards teaching and learning.
Good for
Yeah.
you all. So I'll circle back to that in just a moment, but can I ask a follow-up real quick about the well-being measures for staff? Because that's something I
Okay.
haven't spoken to other schools about yet, and it's
Mhm.
so important. So that's been in place since the beginning? Like that
No,
you've had these no.
no. It's one of the things that was introduced to us during COVID times, and I'm trying to remember I have to look it up for you, what the system is called. But it's a system that you put in all your team members, and you put what position they are in, and then you can give out surveys, and you should do it monthly or every other month. And you sort of take the pulse on them. So you can emphasize more on teaching and learning, or you can emphasize on their well-being, how they're feeling at work and what we can do differently. And it gives you a good overview of the status. And sometimes it's surprising. I mean, the things you think are going well are maybe, yellow. So you get it like red, yellow, green. And the main goal is to get all your triangle green. But of course, you can always improve somewhere. And it also depends on, like in COVID, you would get different measurements than you would do now. So it's like a human resource management.
It's very visual.
I love
Fantastic.
that tool
And
because it gives you a quick picture of what's going on.
Yes. Would you be willing, after our call, to send it to me as part of the resources that other schools
Absolutely.
could use? Okay. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. That's so important.
It does.
And I love that you said we focus on growth. And as you were talking about your teachers, um, I don't love the word evaluation. It's just the word we've chosen for the questions here. But when we think about our kids, we think about growth, and we should do that with our teachers as well. So I love how you all framed you meet them where they're at, and it's all about growth, like where as a school, but also for your staff. Okay, I want to ask a bit about you talked about the prioritization of curriculum and maintaining this curriculum position.
Mhm.
Will you tell me a little bit more about this position and then how you all have structured your curriculum to be sustainable and impactful in a small school community, in your community?
Sure. Well, one of the things that because we're an American sponsored school as well,
Mhm.
so we had over the years gotten a lot of kind of support from our regional educational officer. And that was at that time, for the most part, it was Christy Brown. And it was very, very helpful. I mean, she was very positive and she was a wonderful resource to have as far as guidance for standards-based education, for, map testing. I'm kind of just like helping us forge our way through it all. But also I think the Aero Summer Institutes really helped as well, that a lot of my staff went to. And for us, it was an incredible training. Now they don't do it anymore. They've stopped those, unfortunately. But that for us was really, really a big support for us as a small school. She had great oversight as well.
I was just wondering a bit more about the role as well, like
Okay.
maintaining this curriculum position. And
Mhm.
can you talk to me just a bit more about what that's looked like, the ins and outs of it? So if another small school was interested in the same thing, there'd be some guidance.
Yes. So it's one of the, like, as I say, like the hats that I get to wear. It's my favorite hat. Well, we continue to have weekly meetings, professional development meetings that focus on, this year, we're focusing on UDL. We're focusing on continuing to be a phone free school from bell to bell and what that entails and all the glorious things around that. And we're focusing on AI. So those are the three focuses. So that's a weekly meeting. That also includes me being an instructional coach, which she was talking a little bit about. I think she was kind of referring to, where I do go in 3 times a year into the classroom. Um, Twice a year, I say, "Show me your worst. Show me the one you'd rather close the door on, and hope nobody hears about." And then at the end of the year, I say, "Show me your best," because teachers said we don't only want to show you our worst moments, we want to be able to shine as well. The weekly meetings are also just a sense of community building because we have a lot of part timers. I don't know if other small schools do, especially if you have people who have recently become mothers, they tend to go part time. And so it's just a moment for us all to see each other and to highlight good things that are happening in the school
Mhm.
as well. So I'm also, so the intern coordinator, we have a lot of interns at the school. I think anything to do with professional development, yeah, and the curriculum,
And curriculum.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
So
one of the
when
hard,
we were implementing NYP, we
right.
were running that,
Okay.
and
But one of the hardest parts was when we became an IB school. That was a lot. That was a huge chunk. And so we had to get an IB coordinator as well as we underwent evaluation, et cetera, because that IB is just, it's a lot. It's quite
Mhm.
bureaucratic, as you know, I'm sure. If
Yes.
um, so, I mean, we continue to be an IB NYP school.
the principal, me and Berta, we work very closely together.
Yeah.
We're,
Mm.
we're a
That
team.
collaboration is so important. I mean, in
It's
any
incredibly
school, but
important.
in small schools
Yeah,
specifically, it
it's
seems.
incredibly important. And yeah, and we all bring something a little very different. Hanna's great at like the human resources part at her end. She's also the Icelandic connection, so she can deal very easily with the much more easily with the local authorities in Icelandic, which always helps to be in the native
And the
language.
parent liaison.
She's the parents. She deals with the parents, coffee with the principal, all that. I'm, as I said, more curriculum and the board and that sort of thing. Whereas our vice principal, she's also head of the
Mhm.
support team, the welfare team. So she does everything with special needs, which we have a fair share of,
Mhm.
and that's a growing thing that we're dealing with. But yeah, so that's her. So we all have our own little niches as well. Mhm.
Okay. That no, makes sense. And it sounds like everyone wears multiple hats and you all know what hats those are and
Oh,
you've
yeah.
right, and it's fine. Yep, you're all in.
We go over that with the staff at the beginning of the year very clearly because they just kind of see us as one. But we
Mhm.
have like a grid and we're like, for this. And if they come up to me and say, "Can I have a day off next week?" I'm just going to look at them like, "You're talking to the wrong person. I
Right,
don't know.
not me.
Go talk to her." Or "Can I get money to buy something?" I'm like, "Minister of Finance is sitting over there." So we try to make it clear to the staff that, this certain people, if you're going to be sick and need a sub, talk to the assistant,
Right,
because otherwise it can wear you down if you're trying to answer all the questions that come flooding into the office every day.
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let me ask you this just real quick and then we'll wrap up. Are there any I know you said you're an IB school. Are there any packaged curriculums, curriculum tools that you would recommend to other small schools? Oftentimes small schools are looking for things that are free and accessible or more affordable, but is there anything you would recommend in terms of like I hate to call it a packaged curriculum, but you know what I'm talking about, like
Mhm.
a curriculum program or free tools that you would recommend
Mhm.
to small
When we
schools?
when we first started the school and it only went up to grade 6, it didn't really have a set curriculum, and it made most sense for us to be IB because there's an IB diploma program. And I went to a conference, your ECIS conference in Nice, and I went to the IB and said, "I think I should be in IB school," very naively. And they said, "Oh, well, if that's true, you should come to our conference in Ghana." And I thought, Ghana? I barely got scraped up enough money to get to Nice. At that time, IPC was coming up, the International Primary Curriculum. And I went over to them and I said, what do you guys have to offer? And we became an IB. We didn't have enough money to become a real IPC school at that time. And they said, "How much money do you have?" And this was what I'd had. I got a grant somewhere. And they said, "We'll take it." They were just coming up. We were coming up. So we were an IPC, not on a full IPC school. I can't remember what they called us, an associate school or something. Finally, in 2007, we got money from a bank, and we paid, and now we're a full IPC school. But IPC is very flexible and very easy to use. Very, very different from IB. And they give you a lot of curriculum materials. It's not free. But our teachers love it. It's interdisciplinary. It works well with multi-age groups, which you often run into in small schools.
So we use it up to grade 6.
Yeah, and we use that, and we've depended heavily on Arrow and American curriculum and the standards base. I'm a little worried about it now that it's going to get outdated very quickly. I know that they're trying to keep it, but it's not what it was, kind of thing.
Yep.
And just there's quite a bit of turnover right now with the regional educational officers.
Yes.
So I'm a little worried about that part of our curriculum, to be completely honest. That's where we are now. We're standards based, and like in math and everything, we've relied heavily on the critical areas to teach in math at the different grades. Irma has done amazing stuff, and so that's where and that for us was all free and available. We only had to pay the air ticket to go to Arrow to get the most amazing training that we could find anywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It leaves us a little bit like, what does the future hold? And I talked to Tara a little bit about that as well. And, yeah,
Yeah.
where that's there. So if you have ideas, we're also open to them.
And I think that I hope this guide will have some great ideas from other schools too.
Mhm.
I can, yeah, I'll share when I was a head of a small school, we were using American Standard. So we used Arrow as well and
Mhm.
NGSS for science.
Mhm.
And then we used illustrative mathematics as our math curriculum. It was free and accessible online. You could print. I was in Kigali actually. And it just wasn't as easy to get materials and things like
No,
that. So yeah, there are some good free resources
Yeah.
still out there. Not as many as there used to be.
The thing that we have to be so careful with in Europe is the GDPR, which is the rules, and Iceland's even
Right.
stricter. And so a lot of these free resources, if they're housed in the US, we're not allowed to use them because of data protection. And even things like Seesaw, Reading A to Z, ReadWorks, we had to get rid of them all. We can't use anything until it's been approved, and it's getting stricter and stricter and stricter as we go along. Hanna swears we're going to get back to boxes of sand and with sticks because
I feel like we're going back to the 80s.
it's insane. We can't have YouTube. We can't. I mean, we had
Oh my
kids this
gosh.
morning watching the assassination on YouTube that they had managed to get onto. So it's incredibly strict here. So all of these, I know
Okay.
that other countries outside of Europe is not as strict. In fact, I was asking one of my teachers who we just got from Zambia if it was strict in Zambia, and she's like, "Nope."
No.
She says, "We're always behind."
Yeah.
She says, "We'll catch up, but we're behind."
Right. This is good context. I'm glad you said this because I
Mm.
mean that means that what we're putting together, I need to speak to the curriculum lead and say, be sure that you note that for schools in Europe, there's this
Very strict laws.
yeah, the laws. Wow.
Some of them
Okay.
are savvy, like IXL. I don't know if you're familiar with IXL, but IXL is housed in Ireland. And so some of them will house in like Meta houses in Ireland as well, etc. So they can get and like Gemini, I think is housed there instead of GTP or stuff. So some of them are getting
Wow.
savvy to try to reach that audience, but it's
No, I
something we have
didn't
to be hyper vigilant about.
yeah, I didn't realize that at all. Okay. Let me
We're running out of time. I know you have somebody else
It's
probably.
okay. Hang on the line real quick and I'll stop recording.